with things like the product scoring systems, is just to kind of take a step back and look at it a little bit more from a systems perspective. You know, that not only provides users as well as the producers, the designers, a common framework of judgment, but then it also, as more of us tether to this desire for, you know, extending life of products and retaining it for meaning or for utility, it's going to force a shift in the design community fundamentally, because if nobody wants to buy things that generate waste, you're going to have to rethink the way you're creating products at the most fundamental level. And so I think that's my sense of optimism is in many ways renewed, especially because of the way we've adapted in the last year with so many changes that have occurred. We are capable of that. We were cornered into it, but I don't think we have to wait. We don't have to be forced into it. We're certainly capable of fast and sensible adaptation.
Well, look, I'm with you on the view of the future. I too, and I'm an optimist entirely about. We're walking with a big stone in our shoe, and eventually, you know, you might be in a hurry. You'll keep on walking with the stone in the shoe, but eventually you'll just say, "Hey, I might be in a hurry, but I'm going to stop and sort this out." And I think that's roughly where we are. We have noticed the discomfort. And I think the reason I'm optimistic is I'm a member of the World Economic Forum Council for Manufacture and Production. And the people that I see from big businesses talking about these issues, they're much younger than me, they're much smarter than me, but the conversations that they're having are, I think, about right. They sense the responsibility, they sense the possibilities, and they know they've got the tools. Somebody just needs to say, let's get these lined up to deliver something much better. This reset discussion that they're having, I think, is absolutely right. And Charles Schwab at the World Economic Forum, he gets my vote. I think he's got the gentleness, the foresight, and I think the drive for change. So that's what makes me optimistic as well. So I'm glad we share that between us, Rajiv, that the world will get better. We've just got to keep on continuing, stick with it, perseverance.
Yes. And I also, you know, as we're coming to the close of 2020, and maybe, you know, symbolically also maybe the end of this particular conversation, I think it feels good to think about the next year and the future through that lens, that it's not, you know, it's not all doom and gloom as maybe reading a lot of the news might, you know, lead us to believe. But there are these shifts and movements and conversations that are occurring, that people are engaging this from a humanistic, perhaps existential, perhaps spiritual point of view of stewardship and kindredness. And there's, you know, I don't think there's anything at any given point there's a silver bullet of sorts. I think it's sort of like a fabric, and it evolves. And you're right. I think we keep at it, and, you know, we're likely to make mistakes, but I think drawing on our ability for humility and learning, you know, that's still a step forward, even with those mistakes. Those are important feedback. So I am curious in a way to see how this conversation will be received. I think part of what I found what drew me into this conversation, and it was wonderful to see that it was reflected back in your enthusiasm as well. You felt there was a resonance there. Um, was I completely lost my train of thought there.
No, I think.
I'm so sorry.
I think where you started from was exactly right, and that is,
Yeah.
We were going to talk about the right to repair movement
Right.
and what it meant,
Right.
but you went. I love the way you went the other way. You turned it around and said, "Okay, we can look in that direction. Where is it going? But how about if we turn around and look back and ask, well, where has it come from, and why has it been so successful?" And it's interesting, in all the developed economies around the world, the right to repair movement has just mushroomed. It's really done well. So it's not just some catchy title. There is something deeper, which is what you were asking. And that's what drew me to you. I thought, now that's someone I want to have a fireside chat with.
Yeah.
because it's a far better question than the one that I started with. Where is it going? And Rajiv, to say, no, where's it come from? Much better. And I think I've learned a lot from you asking that question. There's a lot of knowledge, as I said before, about from the anthropology sector, the psychology sector, where we don't typically draw on it, but we should, and certainly religious movements as well. I think we should just look at where the ideas have come from that drive the way we behave now. And I'm currently reading Tom Holland's book called Dominion, about where Christian thought has come from. And it's a revelation, genuinely a revelation, to look back at how ideas became established and brought with it what's now the Western mind, which is essentially a Christian Western mind. But where did those ideas come from? And sometimes they were borrowed from the most bizarre places, from individuals who were very forceful, but then it got bound in, and we just talk about it now as if it's normal, but it wasn't normal once. So I love that kind of, let's investigate the roots, which is what we've done here. And when you do, maybe it does. That's the reason for our optimism. That if we are appealing to something a basic need in humankind, then we will be successful in the end. People will say that I want more of that. Thank you very much. It makes me feel better, even if I don't quite know why I'm feeling better. So if that means there's going to be more remanufacturing in the future, more care for our products, a greater respect for the resources that we have on the planet, then I'm a much happier man at looking at Christmas 2020 than I might otherwise have been.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Rajiv.
Yes. Thank you for taking the time. And for those listening, I'd love, and this is where I lost my train of thought a little bit. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what your thoughts or reflections are, and whether you think we're on the right track or we're completely off the deep end. But I think that kind of feedback is useful, and maybe that provides fodder for conversations going forward. To be inclusive in the way others are perceiving this, and even help us figure out what some of our own blind spots might be. So we certainly welcome that.